stay with me, right?
Yeah.
This is the vision?
I think so.
Looks like it.
There!
Oh my god!
Today, we're at Discovery Harbour in beautiful Penetanguishene, Ontario.
Yeah, Discovery Harbour is widely known as one of the most haunted places in Canada, and there's been numerous reports of strange encounters and sightings here. Today we're going to be going on their legendary ghost tour.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So you're going to experience our ghost tour tonight. We are going to do a sort of a more interesting, in-depth version. We're going to go to where we've had a lot of hot spots, a lot of action on cameras that people have caught things on tour, and hear a little bit of the historical stories too.
So are you a believer, are you a skeptic? Where do you lie?
Somewhere in between, somewhere in between. There are things that happen that are unexplainable, so yeah, I'm somewhere in between.
Awesome, well let's check it out.
You're doing this rock thing? I want to be safe, man.
Yeah, we're like 80. Oh wow.
What do you got there? Am I alright with it? How's this work?
Yeah, just envision an energy field around yourself that is a ball of white light.
Okay.
Just clear away any darkness around yourselves.
Can I hold it at the same time?
Yeah,
or?
focus on a white light that is a bubble surrounding yourselves, and that bubble's going to be there the entire night throughout our experiences. Nothing can come through that bubble. Nothing can follow you home through that bubble. What's here tonight is going to stay here, and what's in your bubble is yourselves. Nothing is going to penetrate that.
So, what was this land before?
So originally it was part of First Nations land, or Indigenous people of Canada's land. And then in the 1812, the British military took it over, and it became what it is today, the British naval and military establishment. During the War of 1812, the men had to come from York. So they would march up the old Penetanguishene Road, and it was basically through the forest. So there are two brothers, the McGarity brothers, and as story goes, the one McGarity brother became really sick on the journey, and he was left behind. And the other McGarity brother was in the same regiment and stayed with him, and they both became very scared, I guess, being out in the middle of the wilderness and not being used to it, and they both perished by morning.
Wow.
So their bodies were recovered, and they are buried in a small cemetery up here. So the stand-up markers, these are original. So from the 1800s, and then the 3 markers on the ground have been put there.
Those are the originals, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So some of the sightings that we've had so far involve some of our older buildings here. I'm just not sure if we can open. It's fairly dark in here. So people don't actually usually get to come in here, but it's interesting to see how it would have felt to live here in the 1800s.
Oh, wow.
Very primitive, very, you're basically out in the middle of nowhere. So lots of cool things have happened here over the years. So the next building is the Bayfield House. And it has had sightings of a gentleman coming out, stepping out onto the front deck and then just disappearing. it's
So weird.
yeah. So we can go on inside if you like.
Sure.
Oh good gosh, she's gonna show us something scary.
I don't know if those are bugs.
No.
Those are little diamonds. I took one of the lantern.
They're making me go here alone.
Look, there's an orb right beside the lantern.
Buddy!
And when we were leaving that building, I looked and I turned around and I got this horrible, deep, sinking feeling like it made my hair all stand up. Like, for real. Like, I felt like I was being watched by someone standing off in the grass.
My sister, the guy with the big orange sweatshirt on, was telling me that all the doors were open and ready for us. We've had to open every single door.
Yeah.
What happened, sir? So when we left the chart house, when we left the main building, the gentleman in charge of the event, he told me that all the doors were open, ready to go. Like we would be able to just walk right in. And we had to open every single door.
Yeah.
In the Keating house, I've taken tours in there, and we let people go upstairs, which is where the bedrooms are for the children.
Right.
And they've come out, and I don't go in. I just wait outside because there's usually a lot of people.
Right.
And I've had them come out and be like, "Oh, that was so good. That was so good. You guys, you know, you had people laughing upstairs and music for little kids." I'm like, "No, there's not anything in there."
Wow.
So when we go in, you're gonna enter into the kitchen area, and then I'll direct you over to where the Keating's bedroom was, and then I'll show you how to go upstairs. Okay?
Your head.
I've actually had a few things happen. So myself and the curator were in here, and we had closed the entire building. We'd take all of the kids' toys, all of the blankets, everything from upstairs, and we store it in a temperature-controlled building. So we locked all the windows upstairs. We got back in the cart, took everything, put it away, went all the way down to the other end of the site. We're coming back this way, and the windows on the back of the house were all open upstairs. And we were the only people on site. So very bizarre. And we have a gentleman who's worked here for a very long time who consistently sees a face of a child in the top window upstairs.
Well, that's already giving me.
And I'm not.
You hear that? She won't come up here.
I'm not.
Okay. Big time. It looks like
And it looks like it's
somebody's
rising. Like it, to me, from what when you said, it doesn't look like someone's lying on it. And
Yeah.
then it looked like it was rising.
That came from somewhere.
Was that not? Was it there?
Probably, I think it was there, but it's like there wouldn't be something that they would have put on there. You know what I mean? Feels super weird in here, but I mean, I think that's to be expected, probably. It scared of me though when I was coming in here. It felt like something was coming towards me. Could have easily been you guys on the stairs, but it was like I was coming in here and then it was like something was coming right at me. And I ran.
Oh, come here, come here, come here.
It's just kind of interesting when the kids
So-
were just saying about that they felt, well, I don't know how to explain it, that there's somebody who doesn't want you to leave, but they don't want to be here. So some of the stories that interpreters have talked about are that it's often a child that they see upstairs in the window, or the sense that you hear the like laughter or you know children's music from upstairs.
So she just told us this because Erica did pendulum upstairs And we, in the reading, had kind of said that they weren't happy being here and they didn't want us to leave. So we were just sharing that, and that's
It's interesting.
what we just found out.
It's going pretty good.
Do you want us to leave? Looks like it's back and forth for now. Are you happy living here?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay, I do not love this building. There was a soldier who was stationed on the opposite side, closest to the water, and it was cold, it was a really cold winter's night. I actually believe it was New Year's Eve, and they were always stationed outside the front, because that was where the water attack would be, right? And he would get cold, so we'd sneak around, and this is actually the back entrance into the kitchen, and he would take a little nip of like gin or whatever was in here of spirits, then he'd go back around, and then he would come back, same thing. So we ended up becoming very intoxicated, and he actually froze to death. So they say that the spirit of him oftentimes can be felt just inside the door. So there has been lots of experiences of between that and the kitchen area, lots of seeing of something floating in the air from the pantry to that servants area. So lots of freaky things. So let me go in here. It's gonna be really tough. We might get a call because I'm pretty sure that was the alarm.
They just went off here?
Yeah.
So is this part of the tour or not?
Yeah, this is part of the tour. These shutters open and close every night. So every night we open, every day we open the building. We open the historic shutters. So these would have been opened and closed every day on a regular basis during the 1800s.
Okay.
So it's our job every day to close these. And if they're not closed, there's actually like a sensor that reads and we can't arm the building. So, but that being said, lots of times we come in here in the morning and they're all open. So it's very funny that we're still armed, but
And the alarm doesn't go off?
no. So we'll go through here. Like I said, this was the pantry in here, and then the servers' quarters were through here. So there is a story that when this was not part of the British military establishment, the people who lived here were always saying, we can always hear something, like always hear something upstairs, always having these experiences. And it turned out that there was someone who had escaped from the original mental institution who was living upstairs.
Whoa!
Yeah. This room is my least favorite.
This one here?
This is the parlor, so it's like your entertainment area.
Oh, there's the chessboard.
Yeah, was Mary telling you about our famous chessboard?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a missing chess piece.
Still, eh?
Still.
And this, sorry, when did this happen?
2 weeks ago. So it's always set up in here. The chess is always a problem in here because, like I said, there's one interpreter stationed in here all the time. Okay, so where did the piece go? Now, the other problem is that consistently the pieces are all moved all over the place.
Oh yeah.
All the time. And one of our oldest interpreters, who actually is a group leader here now, he had one of the first ghost tours last year. He brought through and he was just coming into here and somebody picked up a chair and slammed it on the ground and it was tipped over.
While he was coming in?
Well, he was coming through from the dining room.
Wow.
So there's 2 other bedrooms in here if you want to take a quick look.
Sure.
I guess we'll get the camera.
Want to bust the thermal camera?
Is that something we can access? You don't?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a little investigation in here.
I just like got a big leg cramp. So if there is something, you guys are all gonna beat me out of here.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa! What was that? Something just walked in front of that. It walked in front of there.
Okay, well, we'll play that up later. I don't want to touch this
Yeah,
because
don't.
something's been not wanting us to do this.
Oh yeah, this here. You'll see it different like that.
Yeah. You're gonna stay with me, right?
Yeah.
This is the vision.
I think so.
Looks like
Yeah.
it.
There. There.
Oh my god!
What was that?
Jesus.
What was that?
Oh my god.
I knew I saw something.
I definitely don't think I saw that. Oh, it's still there.
Yeah.
It just moved again.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, we'll play that up later. I don't want to touch this because something's been not wanting us.
It manifests out of nowhere. Oh my god.
Then we saw something here and I thought it was your friend.
That was nuts. That there's no doubt, and I made sure there was no mirrors or anything weird that could have been. That full out something
And then
walked.
was still there. Go back.
I knew I saw it. I told you that. That's
I'm like
that's
shook
unreal.
right
Do you
now.
want to see this?
You're gonna stay with me, right? Walks. Sorry.
Whoa. Whoa. What was that?
So you're gonna see it right there. Across the screen.
What was that?
That's pretty bizarre.
So crazy.
Right?
I knew, like, because I kind of was looking over Dee's shoulders when it happened, and that's why I said that was something that I wanted to check more than anything, because I was certain that I saw something, and I know I'd been fooled by the thermal before, but I made sure to look around. It wasn't the bedpost. The way that it walked, there was no mirrors behind it.
I remember seeing something, but I didn't see it as distinct as that. Like I remember.
I didn't either.
I remember being like, "Oh no, that's just the bedpost." But like you distinctly in that one see a bedpost, and then you see another thing cross it, and it's almost like I don't recall off the top of my head if there was a chair in the corner. Perhaps it was sitting in a chair, and then it got up because we were coming in.
It almost looks like it
somewhere.
manifests itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it almost comes out of.
And there was no one
nowhere.
in that room because
No, we were
that's
the
why I
first ones in.
said
You're coming with
you're
me.
coming with me because I was walking in first and I was freaking terrified.
That's wild. That's I mean that's kind of why we're doing the
amazing.
show, is for that type of moment. I've never
Do we know which one the
experienced that.
the other thing?
The
was?
footprints. Well, yeah, one of the main things we saw in the thermal were the footprints. Footprints? See that? They are 100%.
Could it just be from people that were in here?
You're right on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where your foot is.
This one?
Your left
Yes.
foot.
So now move.
Those are there.
What the hell?
They're so visible.
It's the same temperature everywhere.
You just put it.
Did I make it?
You
made
did
it
that.
worse. But it was too very visible. But the
It was.
question is your warmth on the floor
Right.
added to the warmth of
But look
something
now,
else
it's-
on the floor. Right?
As your warmth fading areas, are they still there?
Yeah, because it
Because it looks like they are.
yeah. Pretty cool, yeah, if that starts fading away.
Like a butler waiting to serve dinner.
That's right, maybe. The servants, yeah.
They're going back to what it was.
That's creepy.
See if they'll move.
Yeah.
You want a pendulum?
Like no matter what it would have been, it should have still been.
We're going to do circle for yes, back and forth for no. Is there someone here?
What was it?
Does it matter if you're closer to it?
And do circle for yes, back and forth for no. Do you understand? No, you don't understand.
But we're seeing what look like some men's footprints in thermal camera. Jamie tried to put his hand on the spot to see if maybe it would go away. His handprints have seemed to disappear and the two footprints are still there. We were attempting to do a pendulum to see if there's something there Erica got that they didn't understand. We didn't get too far. We've got a tour on our heels. So very interesting.
That was one of the weirdest things at the time when we were there. The footprints didn't make any sense.
No, I mean, because granted, yes, there was tour groups going in there and, you know, body heat, but there was tour groups of over 50 possibly, and it was one distinct. And what was really interesting is that
we were there before the tour groups though too, were we not?
what was interesting is location of the footprints were at both ends of the table. And the idea was that, you know, a lot of the experiences had been of servants, and there's stuff in the servants' quarters, and there, you know, that kind of thing. So this idea that these two sets of prominent footprints are standing facing the eating table.
Well, one of them was facing through one of the gun holes,
that's right? Yeah.
There's one right there.
Feet.
More feet. Oh, right in front of the gun.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. It's really interesting because, yeah, like I went over there and put my hands on it to try and see if it was just heat. And then my body heat went away.
Yeah,
and the footprints were still there.
Were still there very prominently. And we saw them on one side.
And they were there when we walked in. They were there for too long, like unless somebody lit a fire, a footprint fire there. Like it was there too long.
It's interesting how, you know, when you're there and you're feeling the experiences that you feel, and you're, you know, whether it was the shutter doors that kept opening sometimes when we were watching, sometimes we just heard them opening really prominently, or you know, with the doors that suddenly were closed when they were supposed to be open, or, you know, the experiences we had at the Keating house, or all the many experiences you have where you're there and then you come back and then there's a whole other world of stuff.
It's wild, well, because you think when you're there you can easily get sucked into like, oh my, you know, I'm in this zone where people are talking about it, so maybe my brain's playing tricks on me, or, you know, you're just working yourself up and you have these feelings and you can't really explain them, but, you know, you don't know if you're just doing them to yourself. But after going through some of that footage, I mean, that thermal image was
the thermal images were pretty incredible. you know, coming into this, as I've said before, I'm the one who wants to justify everything and explain everything and have a reason why that happened. And I was in the room, I shot that, and I know that I walked into a dark room, and that's why I said, are you coming with me? Because I'm scared.
You know, you could easily equate to, you know, I'm just getting
they're
sucked
putting
into the
it
moment.
on, like
yeah.
they know we're here, and they're just trying to give us something. But then when you see it yourself, you're like, nope, that was the thing that was just happened.
That was nuts. That was crazy. Like, I don't know what to. We walked into that room. There was no one there. I was sure I saw something, but watching it back, you know, like I thought, you know, maybe it could have been the bedpost when I saw it because it was such a quick thing.
But you see the bedpost, and then
that thing like
comes out of nowhere and then crosses
the screen.
Yeah. And then that photo, the same spot.
Is it? So that doesn't like.
I don't know. I still.
It looks like.
And then the other picture that we were looking at, pardon all my other ones here, was this one, where we've got some little dots that are kind of odd. We've got this one here, got this dot up here, and then the same shot, we've got another one down here.
I don't know if that's...
And the other one was over. It was a bit strange. To me, I mean, I took a couple snaps of the same spot, and it's very, like, all I can see in that photo now is that, and that's like that translucent, it almost look like a little boy, and the dip in the bed as well. And from, you know, from the investigations we've done so far, those people that are able to see spirit, that's the most consistent description of what they've seen. Yeah. Is that idea of, you know, that translucent figure. And it fits with the stories and everything. And the experience we had when we were there, we had that experience with, you know, the connection to the little boy when we were speaking with him, and, you know, he said he didn't want us to go, but, you know, all of that stuff. So it's eerie when you're like, it's so strange. We had that moment, and then we're just, you know, I'm just snapping photos away as, you know, just not sure what's gonna happen. And the funny thing is, I only took like 15 photos, and there's a couple things on a few of them. So this is the same room where that we believe we see the outline of a little boy or a spirit, and this is another big fleck of something. I remember being in the moment, and there was no bug around. And I mean, granted, it's an older room, so there's dust particles around, but it'd be a weird dust particle, and also it's like it's transparent, like it's not blocking the white line there. Yeah. So that's interesting. And now, as I'm looking closer, I'm seeing something here, and I don't know if I'm losing my mind. I guess that's a wrap on Discovery Harbour. I think, you know, definitely lives up to the stories you've heard. As far as I'm concerned, that place definitely has something going on. Definitely haunted. I do think that, you know, it was a positive spirit energy for the most part. So I'm definitely gonna go back and check it out. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that I don't think there's any denying that there's something going on at Discovery Harbour. Yeah. So now it's up to you. Go check it out. Let us know what you think.
Thanks for joining us on this investigation.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for the latest updates, behind the scene photos, and exclusive videos. Does that look like someone thought something's on there?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, a lot.
Is that the bedpost?
Yeah, it might be.
Bedpost.
Damn bedpost.